What's good, comic book fam? It's your boy Mike Carson from Super Slabs Comics, coming at you with an all new free comic book game. I'm here with Professor Willie Cordy Jr., who quite possibly has the greatest black collection of all time. Willie, finally, my brother, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So I appreciate you taking the time to school us all. I mean, I got my phone, my notepad out. I'm ready to go. Hopefully, everybody out there ready because it's going to be a dope one today. Don't want to be missed out. We have a legend also with us as a special guest, Brother Todd Johnson, one of the writers and creators of Tribe Comics, legend in the game. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure.
Willie, I want to start out by asking you, how exactly did you get started in collecting comics
Well,
initially?
I always liked art, and I didn't like getting like into a lot of playing like games and toys and stuff like board games back in the day. But art has always been like my main interest. So comic books and cartoons was my first, I guess like my first introduction to art, and I love it. And it kept me going. It motivated me when school was boring and all that old crazy stuff. One of my earliest stories I remember. My mother was telling me that because I was too young to remember this, but my mother was telling me that, I guess like not paying attention at school as much, and the teachers thought something was wrong with me, so they was trying to put me on, was it Ritalin and Prozac or whatever that was back in the day. And my mom's like, nah, ain't nothing wrong with that boy. So she took me to the doctor, and basically they said I was near genius. There's nothing wrong. He's just bored. So
Yeah.
my mom gave me my comic books back because she had previously took them from me. So I thought I was just playing around, but yeah, comics has always been my first love when it came to art. I love cartoons, but comics was the thing I could always draw without TV and stuff. I could just read them and draw from them and things like that.
What characters did you gravitate to initially?
Honestly, Captain America and the Falcon was one of my earliest serious runs that I would read on a regular basis. I read the Black Panther and stuff too, but something about the Falcon, he was from the hood. He was from round the way, and I related to that, And my stepfather and my father would buy me books all the time, no matter where I was. It's like, oh, I see a book. And then my stepfather read a lot of comics too. So Sergeant Rock, and what was the other stuff? Oh, the Legion of Superheroes, So I had like Marvel and DC influences back when I was coming up.
So, as you got older, how did your comic habits or collecting habits transition into your adulthood?
Well, as I noticed growing up, because I'm an artist and I create comics and stuff too. I noticed that there was not a lot of black characters. So over the years, I've discovered more black characters, and I started buying more Marvel and DC. But as I got a little older, I started buying independent stuff as it came out. I was drawn to it, and I just wanted to make sure that as I started collecting, I built my collection around black characters, black creators, people that wasn't afraid. Like if they were white, they wasn't afraid to create black characters. And I look at a lot of that stuff like when I do my research. So all my books now, I have a huge collection, but the way I look at my books now, a lot of people look at their stuff as a hobby, and that's cool and everything. But for me, it's not just a hobby; it's a way of life because I study the comics. The stuff I collect is more like research material for me, also because of what I'm building later on down the line.
You mentioned research. I know you're an artist and everything. Are there any particular artists, creators out there that you kind of streamline to, or try to pay more attention to their art styles, try to pay attention to their writing styles, to interpret that type of situation to your own creations?
Well, yeah, some of the earlier influences on this guy named Robert Conagher. He was a white dude. Writes some of the best stories about black people in the early '70s that I found. That even an issue of Lois Lane wanting to know what it was like to live for like a black woman was an issue 106.
Yeah, for sure.
Lois Lane, Superman's girlfriend. That was written by Robert Conagher.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever seen this story with in DC where Sergeant Rock was getting they were about to get killed, and these group of World War I black soldiers saved Sergeant Rock. That was written by Robert Conagher as well. So along with Jack Kirby, some of the earlier influences were those. But then as I went along in the '90s, it was crazy because I was working in the music industry at the time, and when this I don't know name this book called Tribe, right, came out.
Woo!
And then of course, Todd Johnson and Larry Stroman. That book changed a lot of stuff for me, along with some of the stuff that came out of Milestone. I actually interviewed with Milestone back in the day too. I was living in New York at the time. Didn't get in, so I just kept doing what I was doing. I was designing for different people in the music industry. But I'm gonna tell you, when that Tribe book came out, I showed it to a friend of mine named Siobhan. She lives in Charlotte right now, but I was living in Flatbush at the time, and she was living in Coney Island. And so I was like, "Yo, Siobhan, I got this book. You got to check this book out." And she really wasn't into comics that much, but she watched cartoons because she was into like Ren and Stimpy and stuff, right? But when I showed her the book, she flipped. She's like, "Oh my god!" And so yeah, so I just been collecting it. I don't even know how many issues of issue 1 I have, to be honest. I have a lot of them. I have a lot of them here too, but I have a lot of them. In one of my storage units. I have 2 storage units, one here in Atlanta and the other one's in Virginia. But I'm gonna tell you that book did something. And I've always been a fan of Larry Stroman's art. I have a lot of his original artwork and stuff too. And when I saw that the book was created, and I'm gonna be honest, I met Larry before I met Todd. And I kept telling Larry, "Hey, yo, man, talk to Todd for me, man. Yo, talk to Todd. Y'all need to go ahead and put this other issue of the book out." So I'm finally glad this other book is coming out. I know Larry was probably getting on his nerve, right? Because I was like, "Yo, man,
he always just tell me about you."
Huh?
He always just tell me about you. Said, "Man, we got all our stuff."
It's crazy because we used to be at the comic conventions. Like my booth over here, because I'm selling my book is City Earth. I got my CE Comics. I do my own writing and illustrating. And so Larry would be at his table over there. And then I noticed sometimes, like, my son would be with me, right? So I had somebody to watch my table while I go take a break. And I would go past and I'll see Larry. And I was like, "Yo, man, you need to watch your table before you so you can go take a break, get something to eat, or go to the bathroom." So me and Larry started getting tight. And the dude's like really interesting. We had really nice, down to earth. And he's straightforward too. He tell you like it is. And I like that about him, that because the type of artist that he is. And I used to read some articles and sometimes comments that he would make. But talking to him is a different thing. And there's quite a few artists that I still, even now, I look at their style, and some writers that I look at, how they write and how powerful the story is. But when it comes down to it, like in a nutshell, I need more positive characters, more positive stories about people of color, and there's so many different shades of us, and I see these different characters, and sometimes people question, whether this person's black. And I'm like, look, I don't care if they're light skin, middle skin, brown skin, dark skin, that person's still black. And then to me, it matters. You know what I'm saying? So when I get these stories, I catalog them and I just keep collecting. And there's still a lot of new stuff that's coming out, but I've been trying to get all of my old school stuff for the longest. And I do a lot of research, and I could be just watching TV and something hit me, or if I'm in the kitchen, or even I'm just saying, okay, I'm just keep it real. If I'm in the bathroom, I'm just like, boom, I will pull out the phone, I will start researching until I find what I'm looking for. If even that's not the book itself, I find the content so that I collect it. I'll create PDF files, I'll download stuff, and just create a large amount of files. So my research is deep. It's just crazy.
It's crazy that you mentioned Larry as far as the inspiration for art styles. If you just go on YouTube, type in his name, you'll get a mass amount of different artists, just fans in general, just going through. I mean, I've just in my own research alone, tons of people just going through, just speaking about his art style, his techniques, his use of shadows and everything like that. That's a dope, legacy to have out there. And speaking of the legend himself, I'm gonna go ahead and add Mr. Larry Stroman. You still in there?
I'm feeling kind of like I'm on Mars today.
How you doing, sir? Go ahead, take your time.
Right.
Get everything situated.
I'm just having technical difficulties today, so
no worries.
That's your Red Planet background.
This is going to be the best you're going to get.
This all good. Hey, we can hear you, and we got you in here. At least you can respond to the praise you're getting in here before you jumped in.
Yo, what up, Professor?
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, man,
I see you got a close-up of your beard right there. All we see is your beard. It's like the clouds.
Man, Willie's in here telling the audience he taught you how to draw, man.
He did.
Man, don't put me. Look, you know how Larry's straightforward. You had to have him beat me up through the video. But no, it's just crazy because like and it's funny that like you mentioned his like the way he do his shadows and stuff. It's like I was talking to him. I think it was probably 2018, maybe 2017, 2018. We were at this. I don't want to name the convention. We were at this convention in Virginia Beach, and I was talking to him about some of the pages because I purchased some pages from him, and he was telling me like what he really liked about like how he lays his pages out. The action is cool and the layouts is cool, but sometimes he was saying that like he likes to put little things in there and to make people search to find these little things. Like this one thing he had in this one page I have where it's like little toys in the room, little objects and things like that. It makes the scene more interesting, you know. So I like that.
So a rumor has it that you have quite possibly the greatest tribe collection of all time. Can you give the viewers a little peek into some of the books that you have, you know, just sitting around?
Yeah, I want to see that.
I want to show y'all. So I did this one off camera, but I'm gonna show it now. I'm looking for a second copy, so maybe you know Todd and Larry would bless a brother with that. But I wanted to find their first interview, right? So let me take this out so you can see it better. There you go. There you go.
Comic Talk.
Issue number 3.
I was just looking at that today.
So I'll take that copy too. See that?
No, it was actually bent at the bottom, so it's not really any good.
That book, Mike, was put out by the Greenberg Comic Conventions.
Okay.
They did Comic Talk and kind of highlight some of the creators they would have come to some of their bigger shows. Fred Greenberg.
All right, here we go. Some of my ash cans. So the only one I'm missing is the white one. I got the turquoise and the purple. I have 2 here, but I think I have some more in storage. I have a few of these the white covers. But I also have I wanted a 9.8. This one floating around out there, but I just couldn't afford that one. So this one's actually different than the other 9.8 out there. This is a 9, but this one's actually signed.
Very nice.
So both Todd and Larry signed this one. And I have a 9.8 in the black cover. And I was telling people it's hard to get that black cover clean to get that 9.8 because that black shiny cover, you know.
That's true.
But
they got scratched up at the printer. That was a problem getting really crispy copies of that book.
So when I saw this, I could not allow anybody else to have it. That 9.9, the only one in the CGC. Oh, I was like, I gotta have it. So,
man, I know people be beating you down trying to get you to let go of that right there.
Well, yeah, I've had a few people.
So Willie,
but I couldn't find myself to let it go. Yes,
Willie.
Yes.
If you find yourself one day walking down the street and a couple of strange dudes are following you, it will have nothing.
Well, they not gonna get the book because it ain't gonna be with me.
Nothing to do with us.
Hey.
Well, I'll just say that all my years of training and training my son and other students in martial arts is gonna come out of me at that moment. It's gonna be that one time when you're really gonna need it, right? So then I have this number 2. It's a 8.5, but I couldn't let it go. You know, just something about that. When I see that tribe book, I got to buy it. And I have several of these raw, but this one's a 8.5.
Willie, I know you're a collector, man. So I'm gonna show you something that collectors always get mad when there's something that they ain't never seen. There's only one of these. There's only one of these in existence. This is the prototype cover of the Tribe 5 that never came out.
Oh, dude. Okay, so I'm going. Somebody see my voice get loud. I saw this picture online, and I was searching, trying to find it like crazy.
This is all die cut. This is gonna be issue 5.
See how excited he got?
You see my So look. So we're gonna talk off camera. I need that. And of course, you guys were talking about this book, so I have this one. And I think both of these are these are both signed by you, by Todd. So I have a.
Did you get both of those in the same place?
No, one I had got about It was last year, and then one I got just the beginning of this year. And
So
then
I do have a question about the Ivory one. Of course, we all know that you sold millions of copies of the black cover, unique cover on its own. The Ivory one, do you know an approximate print count that's out there for people to find?
You know, I think I've even said in interviews a couple of different things because, you know, it's like after 30 years, you don't recall as much, but I believe it's 5,000. Larry, do you know for sure?
Nope.
So I can give you some contents on the slab side as far as collecting for collectors out there. There's only 82 in the CGC sections of the black cover, with 24 in the 9.8. So for all you guys out there that hold one of those, you're holding on a nice piece of history. That's a nice odds right there. And then for the Ivory ones, there's only 8 slab copies out there in total, with 3 only being in the 9.8. So,
well, I've seen all 3 of them. I just couldn't get my hands on them. But one day.
So would you, you two slab experts, you would be interested if there happened to be some really nice looking white still available, huh?
Very much so.
Yeah, I've seen one. I just can't get it yet.
I've seen one too.
I guess it's gonna be some backstage talking coming up here soon.
I gotta have that Mike Carson money in order to get that.
Hey, gotta work hard out here.
No, I mean there's collaboration that can be done as well, you know.
Yeah,
for sure.
Now I do know that there's a bunch
store?
of zeros that you posted online. That box, did you finish up that whole box, or you still have some of those left?
I still have those.
Larry, no, I don't have a comic store, just an online where I just showcase my collection. I really don't like to sell what I get personally. It's all for my PC. Everything I'm passing down. I have 2 sons. Trying to build up a nice black collection to pass on to them, teach them about them in the process, and then they'll have something, whatever they want to do with it.
Nice.
So I do sell some books online. It's more just to help fund my personal collection, to say. But personally, as a career, I actually own a carry out, we call them corner stores, however way you want to go about it.
What was the first book you ever saw?
The first book I ever saw, I still have it to this day, is Cage 1, 1992. I was 10. And I won't say it's the first book I saw, but it's the first book I purchased. My dad gave me like $5.
Was that the Turner?
Dwayne Turner.
Yep, 1992. Where
cool.
he got hair still. He got a little Caesar up there. And I've just gone to the comic store. And I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. We all on our bikes going a little further than we probably should have. We show up. I'm looking around the books. Of course, you know, you got your X-Men. You had your Hawks at the time. And I just happened to just see that book. I didn't even know who Luke Cage was, to be honest with you. I just seen a book that I thought looked cool, had a cool cover. And so I grabbed it. So I ended up going and grabbing the whole set, probably like 1 through 9 at the time, where I had, you know, just like I said, a couple dollars from my dad or whatever he would give me or whatever. And to this day, I still have that same collection. So
that's awesome.
I missed those prices back then.
Oh,
I'm telling you.
the good old days.
First comic I ever bought was a reprint of some Fantastic Four book. I think it cost 25 cents. And most of the comics I bought after that cost 25 cents. So
the good days. So
yep.
I asked Willie this earlier. So let me ask you, Mr. Stroman, what initially got you collecting in comics, in the hobby?
I've never collected comics. I've got them to look at, but I was one of those guys that, you know, I didn't flip through that book so many times that, you know, that it was coming apart, you know. And then when that came apart, I just went and bought some more comics. And a matter of fact, a lot of the comics that I first started buying didn't even have covers on them. So to this day, a lot of those books, I don't ever remember what the actual book looked like because it didn't have a cover. But it didn't matter to me. The stories was what mattered, and the art was what mattered. So when people I knew began to collect stuff, I didn't really understand the whole collecting thing, because I was never an actual collector, even though I had a lot of stuff. But, you know, I tore myself up, spilled ink on it, spilled paint on it. You know, it didn't make any difference to me.
Is that what inspired you to start creating on your own?
No, I just like comics so much, and I like drawing so much that it had gotten to, because I've been through a number of different things. I did portraits. I did fine art painting. Some illustration stuff that I thought was going to be fun that turned out not to be too fun. So I was saying to myself, I should have just been doing what I wanted to do in the first place, which was the comics. So as soon as I made that decision to get into comics, it was just like it was pretty easy to do because I had been headed in that direction in the first place.
So I don't know if you know, if you, like I said, just doing my research for this interview and everything, there's tons of fans who admire your work, who actually study your work. And if you go through just on your name and everything, there's tons of people out there that's speaking about your art style and how they're integrating it into their own work. So I just think that's a dope thing to see for a legend in the game. So Willie actually himself, before you got onto the interview, was just talking about how in his inspiration into getting into art, that a lot of your work actually inspired him in the style that he uses today as well. So don't let him tell you, that you copy him or nothing like that. He's a fan out here.
I copied a couple of things Willie did.
Oh my God.
So Willie, did you see
the bus like that?
Willie, did you see the first page he teased a little bit of color with?
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, okay, here we go. I just put the big.
There's
that's
the page.
mine. I own that page. Just so he send it to me.
There's the page right there. That's the teaser, page 1 of the new tribe. This brand new.
That page is in my museum.
Exclusive right there.
We get to into existence. There you go.
Now, a few people saw that, but here's page 2.
Yeah, that's mine too. That's mine too. See, I'm just saying, like when I can. Yeah, boy. See that dark, those dark graphic images, and then all the little fine details. Kicks it off just nice.
So that means the rumors are true. We are going to get a return of Tribe in the coming future.
You're getting a return of Tribe, all right.
So what's something new on the horizon that Tribe fans can look forward to? Got timeline for us? You got a a date for us, somewhere they should start looking for some of this work?
This summer, June.
That's
what we're shooting for. And what they can look forward to is this is a continuation right from where the story left off. We're going to start, if you bought Tribe 1, 2, 3, and 0, which is actually number 4, the story is going to just continue straight from there and bring everything up to date. It'll be all the characters that they liked before, plus we're going to be introducing new characters and new things and everything. Obviously, only doing 4 issues, we never really got to all the things that we wanted to do over the years, so it's an easy restart.
So, Todd, I know you are the writer and everything, and I never got to get to ask you this question as well. So what exactly got you into comics and collecting initially?
I originally got into comics because my older brothers read comics and my cousins read comics. So there was always comics just around the house. So as a young kid, that was just very fascinating to me with the colors and the characters and stuff. I liked Saturday morning cartoons. I just was like a fantasy driven kind of kid, like reading all the old stuff about mythology and stuff like that. So comics was just like a pure escape for me, and then it ended up just being something that was just very fascinating. I ended up kind of being more of a Marvel head. There was always everything around, Gold Keys and Classics Illustrated and Marvel, DC and everything. But Marvel, something about the Fantastic Four and the Hulk and the Thor, all the classic Marvel stuff just kind of drew me in. And once I was stuck, I already have kind of a collector's mentality. So the hoarding is a part of like the comic collecting too, that you just anywhere you could get them, man. I mean, you're talking about, Larry said, like the books being a quarter. You're talking about you could go to rummage sales and buy books for a nickel and stuff, and you could go get them at flea markets for 10 cents back then. So getting a lot of comics back then, that was like, there was no local comic stores. You were buying stuff off spinner racks and party stores and grocery stores, and so that whole thing about condition and how you guys collect now with bags and boards and stuff, man. I didn't even see a bag and board until like the early 80s.
When I went to my first show, I had like I think I had like $40 with me at the time. And as I was walking around and I'm seeing these books up on the walls and stuff, a lot of them I would have liked to have had, but you know, a $5 book at the time was a lot of money. So there were people who had these boxes that had like 10-cent comics, you know, first page, a couple pages ripped off, cover all messed up, chewed up by some dog or whatever it was. But these things are like 10, 15 cents. So I remember leaving that first show I ever went to with like $40 worth of 10-cent comic books. Man, yeah. I felt I just like found King Solomon's tomb. Yeah. And I walked out of that show, and as I'm walking down the street looking at all the people walking around, I'm like, these people have no idea the treasures that I'm carrying in this brown paper bag right now, you know?
And that's what you got to imagine, Mike. You know, obviously you're from a different generation, but like my first show was like in the late 70s. It was called the Detroit Marvel Triple Fanfare.
Okay.
And man, there was a dude, I didn't even make it past the first table when I came in that show. I had about $120, man, from cutting lawns and painting my mom's fence and all kinds of stuff. Man, a dude had whole runs of Daredevil, Iron Man, Avengers. They were all like 10 cents. You know, I had to end up going to the payphone, calling my father, babe, can I borrow another $60, man? Because I was just, man, I was coming out of there with like, I bought everything. Yeah. That was like the start of my first real hardcore, you know, Marvel collection, you know, in Silver Age and that stuff. I had a lot of those books for years, you know, from the same 1970 something purchase. But, you know, your access to books right then, man, these kids now can't collect as much because even the cover price at $2.99, $4.99, $5.99. I mean, I'm not sure everybody's age, but just the general cover price when I started collecting, I think when Larry started collecting, it was 12 cents. So I'm not sure. How old are you, Willie?
58.
Okay, so Willie's about the same, 12 or 15 cents. So man, you could buy a lot of comics back then, you know?
Well, you know, one of my favorite things is when I go to shows is I like to buy you know, independent creator made books from, you know, whoever's at the table, and I mean at their table. So, but what ends up happening is, man, them books are like $10, $15 a piece.
Yep.
Like even in this day, even having a job and all that kind of stuff, it's like $10, $15. It's like, man, it's hard to just buy the book and enjoy the book just for what it is.
Yeah, it's tough out here nowadays with a lot of independent creators trying to do everything on their own, print, write, draw, create, everything. Spoke to a lot of them. They all kind of say the same thing, but it would be nice to have a more affordable book out there for the younger generations out here.
Yeah, but DC's got books out right now like $9.99, and it's like, dude, you can get these books done real cheap. Why y'all charging that much money? Even though sometimes they add a few more pages, but still, good lord.
Yeah, it's different times. Todd, before I move on from you, what writers, since you're being a writer and all, inspired you? I know I asked them about artists and stuff. Do you have any favorite writers out there that inspired you back in the day, even to this day?
I mean, to be honest, man, I mean, the template for all the stuff that I loved in the beginning was Stan Lee, you know? You know, he was the writer for Fantastic Four, for the first Spider-Mans I read, the first everything, first X-Men, and then, you know, obviously Jack Kirby had a heavy hand in that. But as far as the name I saw written by, it was always Stan Lee. And then after Stan Lee, I really enjoyed Roy Thomas. You know, he kind of took over like some of the main writing for Stan Lee and created a lot of the characters you see now, like the Vision and all that Avengers stuff and Conan stuff and all that. So it's like those were like the two templates for me. And then obviously, you know, as you get older, you really start, you know, collecting comics and being into like the things that change. You know, I'm a Frank Miller fan, just like everybody, because, you know, the direction he took with Dark Knight in year one, that really changed the way you kind of looked at particular characters. You know, I like a guy named Mike Barron for this independent book he did called Nexus. You know, there's all kind of people you like for different reasons. Yeah. You know, but I would say the template for me was probably Stan Lee and Roy Thomas.
With me, See, with me, it was art. Art. It was strictly the art. And a lot of those guys whose art I like, people say, "Oh, he's the worst. That guy's the worst writer that there is." I said, "I don't care. I like the art."
Yeah.
So I like good stories like everybody else, but in the end, art was probably the thing that, so if I had a favorite artist and he moved to another company, I would just follow that artist over to the next company and buy those books.
And probably ultimately, a lot of us, you don't hear a lot of people say they bought some really bad art because the writer was really good. But you do hear people say they don't care what the story is about because the art was so kick-ass. So it's still a pretty art-driven medium, no matter what people want to say, Yeah,
because it's visual. That's the first thing you see before you read anything. That's the first thing you see. So
exactly, that's what pulls you in.
I would say the cover. As a kid walking into a comic book store, I kind of looked at the covers. Around 90s, I think the first that was the first time I seen like foil covers. So we were grabbing things like the Web of Spider-Man 99. It was like the in 100, the green cover was shiny. The Turok cover, I just knew I was gonna get rich off of Turok. I thought it was gold as a kid. Just so that was the kind of books that kind of stood out to me just walking into a comic shop.
Everybody thought they were gonna get rich off Turok.
Off Turok. That's one.
I'm so glad that like now if they do a cover that doesn't match the interior, they'll say most of the time it'll say variant cover, because I used to love getting the book and the art, you look at the cover and the art matched the inside. But when they started flipping it and then at one time they didn't put variant on there, you look at the cover and you're like, I'm just gonna get this book. And then you got craps, right?
The worst one is when you go in there and you see like 12 different covers, and you're like, oh man, I'm getting all these issues. Then you buy all 12 covers and it's the same issue.
But you know what? People act like the variant cover or the different covers is like something new. I mean, if you go back in even the 70s, man, DC used to have Neil Adams do a cover, man, it'd be a dog inside. But when you saw that Neil Adams cover, you were like, man, I gotta have this, man. But I
bought plenty of comic books for the cover. Plenty.
Yeah. When you get home, you be like, man, I'm hot. Now, but I'm gonna say this though, before we move on to something else. If you don't have both of these, the white and the gold one,
that's right.
You got the Larry, and they say I got Larry and Todd and who's it? Calhoun all on this signature, this yellow one. You gotta have that because those are Larry and Todd. So you gotta
just a footnote for the collectors out there, because we're coming back. That book is going to be interesting because two of those properties are going to be coming back too that are in that Axis Alpha.
I figured sooner or later y'all gonna get to some of this stuff because y'all have a lot of creations under y'all belt. Everybody just hadn't seen everything yet.
Yeah, two of those properties are going to be, put in Tribe.
Todd over there looking like you showing some books he ain't seen in years.
Willie's got a much better collection than I do.
That's all right.
I got some more stuff over there, but I can't show some of that stuff because, like we were saying earlier, I don't want to have to compete against somebody on a book that I'm already looking at.
I got you.
So what can you show us? Because I know you got some heat over there that you're building up. Give a brief introduction though about what you're trying to do with the museum. And
so my museum, it's not just comic books, but it's comic strips as well. So I've been trying to. I want to make sure that I can show the evolution of comics when it comes to Black people, Black creation, from the early 1900s. Well, actually, the early 1800s to modern day comics with old school comic strips drawn by hand to the new style of comics that's all digitally created. But I'm not really into the AI stuff. I want like real artists, real writers on this stuff. I don't deal with the AI stuff. So my museum would have none of that in there. My museum will have the original artwork. Like for instance, I have some Wee Pals, right? Some original Wee Pals by Maury Turner.
I haven't seen that since grade school.
So I have a lot of original artwork of these. I have the books. I have one that I'm pretty sure no one has. You ever heard of a comic strip called Mickey Finn? It's about this white character, but in this, I found this probably about 5 years ago, and when I talk about showing the evolution, I also talk about the stereotype stuff, right? So in this one, as you can see the little jockey right here, the little black jockey with the big lips right there. So this is a Mickey Finn original comic art from 1937. So I have 2 parts in this comic strip. But I found these a couple years ago, and you can see the back of it too. You see like the back of it was like when they were cleaning off their brush or whatever. So, but on the front it's like nice and clean. It's all on Bristol board and things like that. Dateline Danger. He was the first black character, positive character, to have a positive image in the predominantly white newspaper. He was published in 1969. So I have some Dateline. I have a lot of Dateline Danger, original artwork.
Very nice.
Friday Foster, which of course was the first black female character. Actually, there's a documentary coming up that I'm going to be in about Friday Foster. Jim Lawrence, the creator of Friday Foster. I met his son last year when I was presenting at Pop Culture and American Culture's National Conference in San Antonio. And me and him been building a relationship, and he's been sending me stuff. So I just did I just filmed a teaser recently, but they're gonna film the full. Somebody's gonna come down here, and the team's gonna come and film me for the full documentary at a later date. But we just had this. So I do a lot of things like that.
Before you skip Maury Turner and Wee Pals, I just want people to know that it was the first American syndicated strip that was racially integrated. So just a little info on that backstory.
Wasn't that Ebony magazine that they used to run in?
They used to run in a bunch of stuff. Because Maury Turner, he took a lot of his the comic strips. I think a lot of them are owned by some of the stuff is owned by private, people like me, but a lot of it ends up in like the Library of Congress and stuff like that. So once they get a hold of it, you can't get that stuff from them. So you got to try to get the stuff while it's out. Just like a lot of the stuff by Brandon Brumsick Jr. He did Luther, little character called Luther in the newspapers. I have all of his books except for one. I'm only missing one from the collection. And when you look online, they name them all except for one is not named. He actually did a coloring book as well. I actually have that over there too. And
have either one of you guys heard of a book called Joe Chitlin?
Joe Chitlin.
It's like Joe Chitlin's book. The tagline was 200 pounds of pure guts.
I told you, hey, have your pen and pad ready.
That does sound familiar. I got to look and see because I got some stuff I can't remember.
It was in the back. It was being promoted in the back of the. What was that character? It was like a basketball. He had a hoop around his head. It was a character in his costume. I think he had a red, black, and green costume, and he had a basketball rim and a.
Man, that sounds like a real life character.
All right, I'm gonna dig that up for you, Cordy.
Okay. Yeah, I have in my collection first edition of Popo and Fafina. It's the first black children's book created by what's his name, Arne Bontep and Langston Hughes. I have a lot of stuff like that. And of course, you guys know about this book, but I'm not gonna really talk about it. It's gonna be another show. But Black Atlas,
the legend continues.
Yeah, the Black Atlas is gonna continue at later date of that. And then,
but do you have Rank Johnson?
Yeah, what about Rank Johnson?
I have 2 copies of that. Just like I have 2 copies of what's the other one? I'm seeing Rank Johnson, and there's Daddy Cool. Was it Daddy Cool? Yeah. And that was actually published as its own magazine, but it was also published I can't remember which issue, but it was also the whole full book was actually published in a Hustler magazine back in the day too. And it's an LCS.
So did Sunman ever have a comic book?
Sunman had the toy, but he had like a 1-page or something on the back of maybe what came with the original toy or something like that. But I don't have that. Not the original. That thing is way too high. This one is not hard to get a hold of. Lionheart. I don't know if many people talk about him. There's only 2 issues. Well, take some of the glare off of it.
I think I might have one of those laying around somewhere.
So if you have issue 1, get yourself issue 2. If you have issue 2, grab yourself issue 1. There's a couple of them online right now.
I think I had that book before.
Yeah, I
You
think
can
I have
find
that
those.
book.
Sometimes you can find them in dollar bins, but people online trying to sell them for like $45 and stuff. But if you look hard, because actually that's why I found this one in the dollar bin. But I have quite a few. I don't know if you know about this character Minthu.
I've seen that before.
Yeah, it's online too. But it's hard to find a good one. Actually, it's signed by the creator here.
See, like I said, those are the kind of books that I buy when I go to shows, when I can find them. And people will say to me, "Oh, why don't you order?" I said, "I don't want to order. I don't want to buy it from the person that did it."
It's hard to buy this one from the person that did it though, because this one's back in the day. So they had the book came out called Power Comics, and it was like 4 issues and stuff. That is the second series. This is from the first series.
What year is that?
This one, this one's
You guys see that?
76. This was 1976.
That guy's name was the Dunker.
Oh, that's the page that's on the inside of the Black Man comic.
Yeah, so then Joe Chitlin was in there too.
Yeah, that's why I said sound familiar, but yeah, it's inside that. So this is what I just got. That's published in Nigeria, but it's like from the British press. Like the second series is Eclipse Comics. I could have got 5 of these right here, but right before I moved to Atlanta from Virginia, I had to make that move, so I couldn't get them at the time. So by the time I was able to get the ones I have, 2 of them were sold. So Mighty Man. Issue 12.
Very nice.
South Africa. And then I have issue 13.
That's nice.
And it's like magazine size too.
So Willie, remember the first time I met you, you had your own comic book. So where are your comics at?
Oh, I still have them. I was gonna do a relaunch this year, but I think I'm gonna wait till next year because I got a lot going on right now. I'm in the middle of doing.
So you don't have any of those near you to show?
Huh?
You don't have any of those near you to show?
Oh yeah, give me a second. Hold on. I don't want y'all to see me walking away. I have a lot of.
So Mike, what's your prized possession right now?
My prized possession?
Is the Holy Grail that makes everybody bow down.
Well, behind me, that I'm proud of right now is I'm working on a full run, 9/8 run of Static, my favorite character. One of the books that I mentioned.
Here we go.
Was their controversial cover right here. Had the condoms on it. Everybody tried to say this is what blew up Milestone Media or whatever.
Well, I never seen that. I never seen that one before.
So basically, it's just
what issue is it?
Static number 25. I don't know if you can see it without the glare. Basically, it's just a cover with Static making out with his girlfriend, and there's a box of condoms or there's a packet of a condom sitting on the couch. At the time, DC Comics thought it was a little too controversial for his readers, and it was too adult themed or whatever you want to say. Although obviously you got Wonder Woman, with her bustier showing out and all other type of issues going on. But at the time, I guess McDuffie felt like that he wanted to reach our audience in the 90s. The AIDS epidemic was, booming and everything like that. So I thought this was a perfect example of teaching safe sex and everything like that. But DC seen it another way. So in here, he actually put an editorial. I don't want to say dissing, whatever to DC Comics or whatever. And the editor at the time kind of took that some kind of way. So I won't say that that's what led to their breakup, but I think that was the start of the controversy there. So this is the only 9/8 that's out there. There's no CGC 9.8. This is a CBCS. I do have a raw copy too, a couple actually, reader copies. So this is just an actual flap over the actual cover. If you open it up, you can still see the inside and everything like that, but they just put a little heart on here on the double covers. So this is Static 25. Exactly.
Ridiculous.
So eventually I'll have a full run. I'm working on number 17 and 21, and then there's no 9.8s. I have 9.6s of.
At the same time you're banning the cover like that. If you take the Killing Joke, you got the Joker basically raping Batgirl and shooting her and crippling her.
Exactly.
And you got Dr. Light screwing, raping elongated man's wife, and you got all kind of crazy stuff going on, and you worried about a teenage couple practicing safe sex.
Exactly. So I mean, I guess when it deals with stuff for us, it's always a different type of standard that's used or whatever, or metric. And obviously, they parted ways. I like to see them though make a independent push on mine. I think Milestone Media would fare way better if they operated as an independent unit opposed to dealing with DC. But that's just my own personal.
I don't think they can get away from the DC deal. I don't know it for a fact, but I think DC has the first rights of everything, They
don't want to let go. They don't want to let go.
No, they're not going to let go. Especially not with Static,
Yeah,
right. So Larry asked me about my book. So this was my first issue, my book City Earth. It's all about heroes, villains, government conspiracy, and corruption, like real life, So this happens in and around Hampton Roads in the Maryland, DC area. That's issue 1. Issue 2 showcases my first.
And then there's the one that has the cover by.
And then the issue 3. I'm gonna show you this dope cover in a minute. Hold on.
The one that has the cover by.
Hold on. This is my issue 3. One of my variants. I did all my covers myself except for this one coming up. This one I only had this crazy dude I met, right? He got crazy good style. He did the variant cover for my issue 4. I did the coloring, but the artwork was popping. You know what I mean? Popping. Larry Stroman did my character Soul. And it's funny because like back in the day, a few years back, when I first published my comic, I had an artist reach out to me and was complaining about the fist on my character's chest. And when his no disrespect to him, I'm just saying, I told him, I said, dude, I ain't worried about the fist on the chest. I said, 'cause to be honest, mine was copywritten before yours. So I don't care who put a fist on their chest.
That always happens. Always happens.
Little silly stuff, but but it is what it is, But then it's
What issue was that?
I did this cover for Black.
He asked what issue that was.
Oh, that was issue 4. That's issue 4.
Okay.
With the featuring the great Larry Stroman art on that. Look how.
Are any of those out there?
Yes. I actually have some now too, but it's I don't have any in stores here in Atlanta, but they're in Virginia. But I also have some stuff online for digital download, or you can just order straight from me.
Okay.
Then I did this cover for the variant cover for Black Cotton issue 6. That's all.
Is that the Black Comic Lord variant right there?
Yeah, that's the Black Comic Lord. It's only 250 copies. I have about 20 that I'm going to send to get slabbed at CGC and see what happens. And they're going to be all signed, so they're all going to come back with the yellow label because it's my artwork. There's watercolor. Did a little digital enhancement on the cover. And those, and I did put out. I have a lot of different stuff, but I know you asked me about some other books. I want to give you this other one too, and that's hard to find. Omega Man. But you had Alonzo Washington series. He did a series of books called Original Man, but he also had Omega Man. That was his.
I remember that. And whatever happened to that dude? Whatever happened to Alonzo Washington?
That was an Aeneas stuff.
Yeah, he had a few issues. I don't really want to talk about his stuff online, right? But he had some stuff going on that prevented him from continuing his series. But he had one other book. I have all his books except for one. I don't have the Original Woman book. It's the one that comes out, just Original Woman. Now I did post this one online because I found it, and a lot of people was asking me about different stuff. So I decided to share this with everybody. That's Hercules, DC Comics Hercules Unbound, first appearance of, right, you can see him, Cerberus right here, and then the two-headed dog with him, right there. So that's his first appearance. I got that in 9/8, and don't have this, and it only has 2 appearances. His second appearance is issue 3. I have that in 9-4.
I've seen some movement on that book lately. Are they about to reuse him or something?
Well, the movement on the book is because I posted it.
I like that even more.
I'm gonna be honest, like, cause I don't know if y'all remember about two and a half years ago, I posted a 47-minute video just showing a bunch of books, and then people was like posting like emojis and stuff, like they was like taking notes. And when I put the books out there, a lot like the first appearance of Supergirl's first black friend Sue, from Adventure Comics issue 392, I believe, or something like that. I put that out there. People didn't really know about that book. I put it out there, and then I waited to put it out because I made sure I got me like 6 copies of it first, and I have three graded copies. And
I like this guy.
And then what was the other one I put out there, Mike? I put
the Power Stars.
Yeah. So it's stuff like I'll put out there. It's like I'm like, let me introduce.
That's insider trading there, Willie Cordy.
Yeah. People went and bought the Power Stars and still ask it to this day. Like, well, I don't even know why I bought it. So they're trying to figure out why it's important. So that's the legend of Willie Cordy right there.
Okay, we're gonna do a whole show. We'll do a whole show on the Power Stars and the and my boy Black Atlas. You know, because you gotta get Black Atlas. This is the Power Stars books came after this one. This is actually his first appearance, and then Power Stars 1 and 2. And
what issue is that right there?
Yeah, this is issue 1. This is the one and only copy where he's him by himself, like solely features him. So you gotta get this. If you don't get, there's one online right now. I'm just saying. I got 5 copies, or do I got 6? I can't remember. I got 5 or 6 copies of this. So I just want to make sure that.
I hope y'all got y'all pen and pad out. So.
So it's hard to find. Now I did want to show this. I want to make sure I got the comic book stuff out the way first, because this one here is what people have asked me about a lot of times too. So I have 5. I would have had 6 copies, but the guy that I bought them from couldn't find the 6th one, so he sold all of them to me as a package. So the Pittsburgh Courier put out this comic. It's like comic pages. It's like the comic book, like the comics in the paper, but they're huge. So the whole thing is nothing but comics. So this is one of the 5 sets I have.
What year is this?
This is 1950, November 18th, 1950.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Where's the date? Where's the date? Right there. Boom, boom, boom. So this features what a lot of the comic historians call the first black superheroes, the first 5. They mentioned Neil Knight, Guy Fortune, the Chisholm Kid, and I'm gonna slowly open up some of this.
Chisholm Kid.
I gotta be real careful because the pages are really flimsy. So you got the Chisholm Kid right there, and then you got Sonny Boy Sam, and then Woody Woodenhead down at the bottom.
Right there, Sonny Boy Sam.
And then Sonny Boy Sam, Torchy Brown, Don Powers. Hold on, I'm gonna pull these up so you can see them.
Torchy Brown, name sounds familiar. You mentioned the artists.
That's would be Jackie Orms.
Jackie Orms, a legend.
Yeah, she's a writer and artist. And then
I've never heard of Don Powers either.
Yeah, Mark Hunt and Neil Knight. So I have a set. The stuff I have is between 1950 and 1952. I have a few from 1952 as well. And then Lohar on the back, just the back of it.
Now, Willie, do you remember me telling you about a guy named Vernon Grant?
Yeah.
And he was like the first comic artist I ever spoke to before I even went to shows and stuff, because I used to run into him at the comic book store.
Uh-huh.
And he did a little small book called Love Rangers. And this was the first black comic book to ever be sold in Japan.
Yeah, I was looking at 2 different issues. I got one. I think I did purchase one, and it's in my storage, but that thing, man, was not cheap at all.
Yeah.
I was like, and I got that from you.
Definitely rare.
You told me about that, so. But I was saying before we started the live, before we went on, started recording, I was saying that like in my research, I list like everybody that have contributed to my research, and so I other than like me, loving your art and thinking that he's a really cool guy. I actually have you in my research as well. I acknowledge everybody that has contributed to what I've been building over the years, because I think it's important. Nobody does this by themselves. No, I don't care what nobody says. Nobody does this stuff by themselves. I found a lot of like my LCS back in Virginia helped me with a lot of my research. So I list them, and they're like at the top of the list. Like Zeno's, Wayne over at Zeno's, Wayne and then Dave over in Bender's. These guys helped me dig out some book, and Dave got crazy stuff in the back of the store that it looked like a whole warehouse of comics. And I remember Dave taking me in the back, and I went in the back, and I was like, I'm like a kid in the candy store. I was like, oh yo, this is hot.
Are you familiar? Are you familiar with a deceased creator out of Detroit? His name was Brent Carpenter. He had a book called, he had a couple books. One was called Paradigm.
Yeah.
Another book was called The UN Force.
Yeah, I got those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'll be finding all kinds of crazy stuff. And if somebody say something, in the back of my mind, I'm like, doo, 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 doo. And then as soon as I get a break, I jump right on it because I don't want to forget. I'll either take note down or I just start searching right then. So,
do you know Kendall Cheeks?
Mm-hmm.
Kendall Cheeks
I did a custom cover for him because he's
that dude has one of the craziest collections of comic books ever. I mean,
he sent me a book that I was looking for like 10 years, and I couldn't find this book nowhere. And he's like, I got you, bro. And he sent me the book, so I was like, I got to do something special for him. So what I did was, he's a big Black Panther fan, and then we were talking about the Coil Tiger. So I did a portrait of him as the Coil Tiger on a Black Panther book, and I did it in watercolor. But yeah, Kendall's that's the dude. That's my dude.
So for those out there who don't quite understand what's going on, Professor Cordy is actually curating one of the greatest Black collections of all time for a museum that he's going to display. Is it going to be in Atlanta at some point?
Yeah, I was going to do it in Virginia, but I think it's going to be best if I do it here in Atlanta. Okay. And I want this thing to be like so dope. That I wanted to make like this is nothing that anybody's ever seen. It's not just going to be just full of comics. It's actually have a lot of original artwork and stuff too. And my one of my goals is to build, like when you first walk in, just like the wall behind you, you see the wall of comics behind you. When you walk in, I want to have a celebrity wall when you walk in, and it's all illustrations created by me. And so far, like I like just give an example. I got Trina Parks. She was the first Black Bond girl. So I met her at the end of the year, and she signed this for me along with a few other books. I did another cover just like this, but in black and white. So I'll never do the same cover twice the same way. I did this same, but I actually have her facing the other way. The other way. And I did it just in black and white. And this one I did in watercolor and Prisma. But I actually had her sign this one for me. And then I met Pauline Peart. I don't know if you ever heard of Pauline Peart. She was basically the first Black bride of Dracula. So I did a portrait of her, and she signed this as well. And my goal is, like, Larry's seen the one I did of him. I'm doing another portrait of Larry, and I'm doing one because I'm doing a different style. I'm doing one of Larry and of Todd, because on my wall I have, well, not just artists, but just creators in general. Anybody, like I did these, and I got Ron Wilson signed these. So these are slab. These are yellow label. So this is Ron Wilson here. And then there's another Ron Wilson when I hit. Ooh, that's a massive player. There you go.
That's awesome.
All creators.
Ken Lashley. I did Ken. Ken signed these for me.
That's awesome.
I got the X-Men basically giving him like some props, and Marvel Girls giving him a hug. This was the first one I did. Ken signed this one out of the group. I did this one on the Joker cover.
That's a dope cover right there.
So I try to do books that relates to the artists themselves, like, and then of course y'all seen a lot of stuff he did on the Superman Doomsday. So I did him on this one, and he signed this one as well.
That's dope, man.
And so I got this event coming up. I did last year. So I go to different events. If I don't see the person like in person, like maybe we meet up somewhere at a convention or whatever. So I go to some other events, and I went and I haven't got this one signed yet, but I gotta get Dennis Cowan to sign this one. This one's all hatching and cross hatching. I gotta get Dennis to sign this one. Now I know I can't get this one signed because our brother passed away. So I did a Chadwick Boseman, and I did a few of these and sold them right away. This one, I've had a lot of people trying to get this one from me, and it ain't going nowhere because it's straight going to the museum. So Dorothy Steele signed this for me a year, 2 years before she passed away. I actually met her at a children's museum in Virginia, in my hometown of Portsmouth, Virginia, and she signed this one for me. And I had a lot of
Black Panther movie.
Yeah, she was one of the elders in the Black Panther movie, and I had a lot of people trying to get this one for me. Now, this is the kind of book you try to get and get your arm chopped off. I'm just saying, okay? It ain't gonna happen. So one of the events that's coming up is they have this event called Ranger Stop or something like that, Power Ranger Pop Stop or something. But it's coming back around again this year, and I noticed they have 3 new Black Power. So they had like 27 plus Power Rangers last year, and out of those 27 plus Power Rangers, there were 6 Black Power Rangers came there, and I got Nikhil Burris. She signed on one of my portraits. Actually, she signed 2 of them for me. This one I had did maybe 2 years before, but I didn't get it signed because it was this bad storm, and I was like, nah, I ain't going out in that lightning. So I got these signed, and Karen Ashley, and well, that's Nikhil Burris, and then this one's Karen Ashley. Sorry. So I did them on a yellow cover because they were yellow Power Rangers, and then Rory, he was a red Power Ranger. I did this one of him. He signed this one, so I got their signatures on there. And that's what the majority of the walls gonna be stuff that's actually signed. So when I do the one of you, Larry, and Todd, I need y'all signature on these pieces. See, one thing about me, we were talking about people that resell stuff. I ain't selling my stuff because I've had a lot of people ask me, and I might have like 2 or 3 copies of something. And if anything, I might trade somebody something if it's something that I need, and then maybe I have something that they need. But I'm not doing no resale on anything.
Now, just remember when you do the one of me and Todd, putting my head up higher because I'm a couple inches taller than Todd.
You're a couple inches taller. I got to make sure I can fit your beard in there. That one I did with you before, I was like, I got to get this beard in there.
And all my signatures have to be Kung Fu certified by Mike Carson.
There you go.
Super Slab.
I have that one in here. I think I got that one in here of you, Larry. Hold on. I need to show. Oh, I found this book now. This one wouldn't fit in the top loader because it's a little bit bigger than comics, but smaller than a couple. So it's a 007. The Diamonds Are Forever is the movie that Trina Parks was in, and this is a French version of Diamonds Are Forever. So she personalized it for me right there too.
Is she in that cover? I mean, in that comic?
No, well, the character's in there, but also it's this the movie that she was in, so that's why I had her sign this one. So she had recorded. I made her make sure she personalized it, so can't nobody say this wasn't my book. I want to make sure. I want to make sure, but
that's how people used to get signatures. It was always to them, but then the investors came in. There you go. That's good. Look,
this whole thing is graphite, right? And I put y'all logo on there right there. Look, try it.
That looks good.
Then I put some Adinkra symbols around it. And also I did the back of it too. I have some Adinkra symbols here. And then on the back as well. But this is all graphite. So yeah,
Mike, how much are we supposed to charge Willie for the signature?
No.
Let's say, tell him. I'm sure he showed something up there that caught your eye that he might have 2-3 copies of right there that might work out.
I was about to get this one signed, but then he passed away.
Oh man,
Uncle Phil.
George Perez.
It's George Perez.
George Perez. Okay.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah, and on his lanyard, I put like characters that he actually created too.
That's awesome.
Then he has the gauntlet on, the Infinity Gauntlet too.
That's a great idea.
So this one I haven't sent. I'm sorry, my brother. I haven't sent it to you yet. And just like you know the stuff I was going through. So, but this one I've been holding. I did him and his wife for our brother Odin. So here we go.
Nice. I had all this on like a couple weeks ago.
So I could have sent it to him. The only reason I sent it is because I wanted to get it slab for him. I was gonna, because he sent me some stuff too, and I just want to make sure that I send him something really nice. So I just didn't want to send the book by itself, but I got the one I did to him and his wife, and I just wanted to get those. I wanted this one I did to his wife. She likes pirates, so I made her a pirate.
Very nice. So Willie, do you have any advice for new collectors out there that's trying to get into the black collecting stage out here?
Yes, I would tell them. Listen, the first thing I would tell you now, because just like we were talking about earlier, I would tell you I would start with something that I actually want to read. I don't want to just I would never suggest to collect just to collect, or so you can resell or so you can flip. That's not me. Because if you purchase something that you actually want to read, you would take care of it better. I think you would take care of it and you would appreciate it more, and then you would probably pass it down also, because you could talk about the stories. For me, also, I like to buy older stuff. Newer stuff is out there and it's expensive. Some of the older stuff can be expensive as well. But I would tell them to go search those dollar bins, go search those stores, or go to those conventions when they have those $1.50 books, because you can get some really good stuff out of there. Because sometimes you can find stuff that people miss too. So me, if you're a Marvel fan, DC fan, independent fan, whatever you are, go for it. And if you're an artist that's looking to find something to draw from, there's plenty of stuff out there that could probably fit in your category, because there's so many different styles out there. There's not one particular style that I would just say, hey, buy this, you know what I'm saying, or buy anime style. But I like a lot of different styles of art, because I teach a lot of different stuff too. So for me, I could adapt my style to anything. I've done like anime covers. I'm working on an animation right now. I do comics as well as animation. So there's a lot of people that like to start with webtoons when they like to read them and stuff. But if you want something in your hand, you want to hold it, you want to smell that paper, I would tell you to go. I would start with somewhere probably, I guess, like easier for around the 70s. 70s and 80s is a really good time to start. It has some really good stories back in the day, and that's what I would suggest.
Okay.
I'm gonna give a biased statement, but it's a true statement. Okay, if you're gonna be a black collector, or you're gonna be somebody that likes black comics, there's no collection that is truly a black collection if you don't have one of these in.
There you go.
This is the best-selling black comic of all time, drawn by one of the top black artists of all time. So if you ain't got this, don't tell me about your great black collection.
Yeah, if you don't have, I'm gonna tell you, if you don't have Tribe in your collection, you haven't begun to understand what comics is about.
Well, you haven't done your research. I mean, I see all these people talking about their historians and black stuff, and they say, "Oh, I never heard of Larry Stroman. Or I never heard of Tribe." Well, you didn't do no research.
And the cover stands out too, like.
Yeah, come on now.
Well, clearly, they don't have this book right here. Then
there you go.
You got to get the interview. You got to get the first interview.
Willie, do you have that? Do you have that Water Independence book that I did the cover to?
Which one?
War
Independence. Oh yeah. I do have that.
Because some guys had done a show where they were basically saying that book had the most creator-owned black characters on one cover.
Yeah.
In history.
Yeah, I have that. I went after that back in 2018, I think it was. I was trying to find this other book. Oh, so I did. I'm gonna tell you, I did this too, because if you really want to know about Larry Stroman, all right, I'm gonna say this, because you can get this book, and you can find out a little bit about Larry and Todd, and you can read a bunch of articles online, because it's called Comic Talk. It's issue 3. But then I'm gonna tell you what I did. I saw this book online. It was the only one up there, and I had to get it just so I can show Larry that I had it. It's an interview with Larry Stroman. It says right there. It says right, Larry Stroman.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Todd, for some reason, I thought that was the first one we did.
No, that was just you.
Oh.
Yeah, that was just you. So I'm collecting everything Todd Johnson and Larry Stroman. So that cover you showed me earlier, before Larry came on, I need that.
Yeah, I'm gonna donate some stuff to your museum. I want you to have some stuff nobody has.
So you gotta be here dancing. When you start talking about Tribe, you gotta.
I told you his face lit up when he seen it.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna go to my mom's house, because she stores a lot of our stuff, man, and find the prototype for the crushed velvet cover.
You know how Eddie Murphy said Eddie Murphy was talking about that ice cream. I got some ice. That's how I feel when I got that tribe book that nobody else had. Tribe book. I got that tribe book. So yeah.
I still say that when I see the ice cream truck.
So I got Larry and Todd on here. Any advice that you can give out to creators that's trying to make their way in this space? I know you guys been working for years in the industry. What advice would you give to new creators out there, especially the Black creators trying to create their own work?
You know, I'm not going to say this is a complaint, but this is what I see. You know, first of all, you should lead with your brand. Okay, your brand should be the first thing. You got a brand, you got an IP, whatever you want to call it. You know, many of the creators out there, sometimes you go to their social media platforms and stuff, and you go through their pages or their posts and stuff, and really all you see is Marvel and DC. So if you got the Legend of Super Slab comic, when I go to Mike Carson's page, I should see the Legend of Super Slab comic. I shouldn't see you talking about, man, I love that new Venom movie. Oh, yo, man, I can't wait till the new Transformers movie comes out. You should be talking about Super Slab comic. That's what I think.
Because what ends up happening is that then the same people then complain, why is it nobody wants to buy their stuff? I'm like, you're not even promoting your own stuff.
I don't got that either, Willie.
So look, they got them online, right? It's still in the poly bag too.
That's not one.
And get the card in there. Like my card collection is not here, so that's why I'm not showing that. That's in my other storage unit.
I forgot about that.
That's there. That press pass. Boom, boom, boom.
Plus, the new thing now, Mike, is going to be collaborations, man. I mean, because you're always looking for new audience from different things. We're all feeding in the same pond right now, okay? So if we're all if you take all of our individual independent comics, let's just say we're all piranha. Okay, and we're all swimming in this same pond. There's only so many things to eat before we start eating each other.
Okay.
So, you know, you got to go look for new opportunities outside of that pond. You know, like, you know, we're always looking for other people to partner with to, you know, get our information out and you know, and share their information. So,
you know, it's like you always hear people complain about, oh man, the problem with the brothers is that they can't even get together and do anything and blah blah blah. But then, what I just did with Willie is what people should do on every one of these shows. Ask somebody to show you their comic books.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't care what it is. I don't care when it came out. If you're on the show, people should know about your comics also. These guys get on shows and all they do is talk about themselves through the whole show. And then it's over and then that's it. And then they say, oh, the reason why I didn't talk about anybody else is because nobody asked me a question. Willie didn't ask me to say anything about his comic book, but I did. And that's what people need to do more often.
Yeah.
So when people talk about that, we got to come together as a community stuff. That's what you can do.
Yeah, it's true that.
And you got to collaborate. Like, this is our new one of the tribe sponsors, Gin and Juice by Snoop and Dre.
Oh,
gotta love it.
Yeah, that's it right there.
So
Did you guys? So I actually, like I said, I been hounding my distributors for this. Like I said, I own a carry out Ohio University, and that's one of
Gin and Juice.
That's one of the first things. As soon as I seen it, I hit him up. Hey man, I need this in the store because we have other Snoop products in there. He has a wine,
I'll turn you on to the person.
Okay.
So you can get it in your store.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one thing. Hey, I will try to carry for sure.
That's
so then, like you said,
that black love. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey,
we like to collaborate with people, man. No matter what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Willie, you drink coffee, man?
No, I drink tea.
All right. Well, I'm gonna send you one of these limited edition tribe mugs is coming out.
Yo! Oh, okay. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm glad that reminded me too. So I got a person. It's a personalized stuff. It's not on the market. Maybe you guys will put it on the market. But I'm gonna show you I'm not finished with it yet. I'm gonna show it to you when I finish. I'm making my own tribe box for my comics so that when I look on my shelf, I can just boom. I know exactly what my box at. So like the comic boxes, the short boxes, I'm making some Tribe boxes, some personal boxes. So
this was created. This is going to be a limited edition thing. We're coming out in conjunction with our coffee sponsor, Afro Grind.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Now my friend, she drink coffee, so I get it. Her.
Your tea fit right there, fine though.
I'll let her drink the coffee, but I'll take the cup.
Why you got it out? Don't be missed to show folks where they can actually go and get this coffee mug or any other new art that you guys want to.
Well, yeah, if you go to our website, which is www.tribecomic.com, we're going to be listing all the people that we're working with as far as media and all the people that we're going to work with as far as product endorsement, things like that. Matter of fact, Mike, I'm going to need the Super Slab logo so we could show you on our site, promote
Appreciate
your show. That. And we like to collab with people, man, and make it a win-win for everybody. It's not just about you talking about Tribe, just like Larry said, you got to talk about Willie Cordy. We got to talk about Super Slab. It's like, this is a very small community, man. And unless we want to be these piranha eating each other, man, we need to find bigger lakes.
I appreciate that.
And more people to collaborate with and stop acting like it's just me all the time.
Yeah.
As a content creator just starting out, when you guys reached out to me, you seen the first thing? Oh yeah, let's get it going, because I just start going, just talking to Rico and other folks in different chats and groups and stuff we got, and we talk about black books and stuff all the time. And I said, well, we kind of hoarding this information. We should be talking about this information publicly, so people who are younger or look like us who are just out there. Because I found Rico in a live with Stranger Comics buying books. I'm like, who's this brother buying books that I'm after? So I messaged him and we got to chatting, and that's kind of how I met Rico. When I got the opportunity to talk to you guys, it was more of a pride factor for me. So I definitely appreciate you guys taking the time out to sit down and talk with me.
No,
Willie, your collection is stellar. I know you got tons of more heat that you weren't able to show. I seen you kept reaching.
Yeah, a lot of stuff over there.
I try to keep it moving a little bit. Larry, I wish the people got to see that gray beard of yours.
Well, Willie showed it already.
Yes, he did.
No, we have to do it again when the book comes out, because we got a lot of surprises for those people that are within the network of who's helping us get the word out. So Mike, we definitely going to talk to you
for sure. Any social media plugs you want to add right now, or anything you got upcoming that you want to add before we get up out of here?
Follow Tribe on Instagram at Tribe Comic, and then you can obviously follow myself or Larry Stroman on Facebook or Instagram. We both have personal platforms as well, but really the main hub for Tribe is going to be the website www.tribecomic.com. If you go there and join the email list, a lot of the stuff that's going to be really special is going to be to people that we have actual email communication with. So things like variant covers and all, signed books and things like that we're going to kind of keep to our own little hub. That's a good place to start at.
Willie, I know you don't sell as much you said, but you do have some work that you want to get out there.
Yeah, you can catch me on Instagram at Cordy Willie, last name then the first name, or my entire name, full name on Facebook. If you want to view some of my work, CordyStudio.com, and then I sent you the other ones. There's some pretty long links from the other sites. Well, you can just Google my name. You'll get all kinds of stuff. I have a pretty decent internet footprint, so they can find me easily. Just Google me as well.
Larry,
if they have a question about or concern about the Cordy Museum, later on it's Cordy Museum at Gmail. If they can get gmail.com, they can get a hold of me through that directly.
And I'll make sure I'll leave a list of all the info at the end of this video and everything. So.
Okay.
Larry, anything you want to add?
Nope.
We got to come around and fix your camera.
I would be remiss if I didn't say that Larry Stroman's Tribe beer is brought to you by Blackwood for Men. And he got his own beard. He got his own beard sponsor for the brush and everything.
Dang.
Got all the beard products. So He'll be able to grow a beard and have it all silky smooth, just like Larry Stroman.
Hey.
Don't fool it. Fills up your camera.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time to stop by with us. Oh, let me go ahead. I had one, but this is from a friend of mine made this logo. His name is David James with Swim Indie. He does T-shirts, hats, custom logos, anything that you need.
All right, we're going to talk about that.
He'll be happy to work with you guys on anything and give you a great deal. So
all right, we're going to talk about
that new hat coming back out, Todd. That other hat, the Trav hat coming back out.
Oh yeah, I got some stuff for you, Willie.
Okay.
I got stuff for both of y'all.
All right, appreciate it.
So we'll hook it up.
We're gonna go ahead and close this out here.
Right,
thanks to everyone tuning in for this new episode of Free Comic Book Game with Professor Willie Cordy Jr., Larry Stroman, and Todd Johnson. Peace.
Thank you.